Project D2 mod for Diablo 2. Pretty fun so far. Then again, I've only just started, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and log in. There we go. I think we're gonna see what kind of games we have up. Help with cows. Start one. There's 2 people. What level we got? 20 and 67. Act 1. 7 minutes. What level is this? You see the players usually start. This guy, remember, he's level 20. Oh, broken cow, just walking. 28 necromancer. Here's another one, level 18. Alright, level 9. Let's go ahead and call this Act 1, Quest 4. I think I'm on Quest 4, maybe Quest 5. Do that. Join me. Join us. That's more Diablo themed, huh? Yeah. Well, let's see if we can copy this, or if we have to create the Act 1. Join us. Password, character difference 10. Okay, create game. Alright, so now with this character, we've got relatively high strength. The idea is that he's gonna be kind of like a tanky necro. I've always wanted a necro that wears, you know, really cool armor and all that, you know, has like an awesome sword and stuff like that. I'm going with that. I'm sticking with it. Got our mercenary. He's gonna go with his skills. He's gonna be clay golem, or he's gonna be fire golem, golem mastery, skeletal mastery, and then bone armor and skeletal archers. What's kind of cool with this game is that it some of the skills are different. So if you've played Diablo 2, you'll realize that skeletal archers is not a skill that's inherent in Diablo 2. But yeah, you got that now. If you want to have archers running around with you, then you can go ahead and do that. Just download this mod and good to go. Last time we had a lot of help from a lot of other people. Let's go ahead and see if we can find the Darkwood waypoint. Again, this is going to be a casual playthrough. Got a little bit of lag there, but we know there's 2 MFs over here. Yeah, look at that. Not sure if I want to increase my dexterity for my to have better attack rating. Okay, we can only have 1 skeleton, and then we got the bone armor going on. Okay, character, what's my attack rating? Dexterity, vitality. I thought attack rating normally showed up right here, but I'm not sure. What's going on with that?
I need mana.
These guys look like they're ready. So I've got splash damage going on, which is another thing that's been added to the... ooh, maybe Skeletal Mastery does need to happen here. Don't really need that. Actually, I'll probably just toss that. Skeletal Mage. No, Skeleton. What's this called? Skeleton Warrior. You know how I can dump a point into the Skeletal Mastery. Warrior's damage plus 2, life plus 15. Do I really want to waste a point for that, do I? Bone armor is going to stay as high as possible. We've only got 2 points left. We'll keep it as is. We don't need any points into whoever thought that Skeleton Mastery was a good idea was lying. Unless I change my mind here pretty soon. That splash damage though is pretty cool. When I actually hit something. Let's see. Level up here in a couple minutes. So, yeah. Is this? No, we're in Stonyfield. We're looking for the Darkwood waypoint. Next quest. We're gonna go look for the hydraulic mount. Hydraulic mallets. Hi, Roderick. Did I say malice? Mallet. What is a malice? The world may never know. I guess it's just the name. Anyways, yeah. Hopefully you guys are having a good day this December here, 2023, soon to be 2024. Yeah, hopefully you don't mind me talking into your ear while I'm playing this game. Kind of having me run in the background is kind of the intention. Sorry my last video was so quiet and the first one had no audio whatsoever. We're troubleshooting the issues with my tech department, but looks like we've got things under control for this video. Picking up all the emeralds, the diamonds, and the sapphires, the rubies, jewels. That's right. A necromancer with a polearm? What are you crazy? Yes, I am crazy. I intend to fully embrace that fact. So yeah. Well, we're making do. Not really worried about following any specific builds. As I talked in one of my earlier videos, maybe it was hard to hear, maybe the audio wasn't there, but I have a character D2R that maybe I'll play on a little bit later, but that character is a sorceress who carries a crossbow, a flame enchantress, and man, is she fun to play. And Diablo 2, I was building that character even before they upgraded the ability for her to be incredibly strong. Not incredibly strong, but much stronger than, you know, normally. Attack rating. Now it says attack rating. 177. Average chance to hit a moon clan is 177. Oh, no, what? Sorry. 95%. My attack rating is 177. So let's see, what level am I now? 10? So, not quite at the level 12, which is where I'm looking forward to these. I might pump one into there, but we're going to pump one into there. Not doing any curses. We're just being really conservative with our point allocation. Yeah, my sorceress, I named her Demon Spitter because there's a crossbow called Demon Spitter, and the character was based on, you know, the flame enchantment. She would enchant herself with flame, and then this Demon Spitter crossbow, well, it's not Demon Spitter crossbow, but it's another crossbow, I think what it's called. Just incredibly fun to play this game and games like this, especially with builds that were not, you know, originally intended by the devs. But I especially like that character because she's so strong, and at least she does a lot of damage, and that's what I like about her. And she just enchants herself and then shoots bows, and then the bow explodes, and then that's about all she really needs to do. You know? I think it has 66% chance to pass through. Or like if she hits something, then the attack will go through to the next character, the next enemy. And we'll see if that's any good. She also has the Dream Enchanted headpiece. And yeah, I mean it's not as like awesome as, you know, you might expect like a normal source to be, but I think it's cool just for the novelty, the meme aspect of the build. A lot of fun. Yeah, so normally if I were playing this game, I would have my Necromancer just like at this point. Would have as many different summons as possible. That's what we're looking for, small charms for the damage. There we go. How do I get out of this place, huh? This corner. I just want to find the cold plains, I think. Could be that. The dark wood. Maybe I'll go backwards from the black marsh. I think that requires me to go... Oh, the Black Marsh. The Stony Field goes through that... there's like a cave, and then it comes out into the Black Marsh. So this would be... This is the Black Marsh. Cold Plains is the... I'm looking for the way along the Cold Plains, I think. Yeah, this is a new game session, so my map is all, as you can see, brand new. Or refreshed. Not in any hurry, this is totally casual. But yeah. I'm trying to think of other channels I'd like to incorporate into my my roster. Alright, in the last video I talked about making like, here we go. Dark wood, that's what I wanted. Take my splash damage. I talked about doing different channels, including a music video channel, doing a channel that's based on animations and game design, and just have a full roster of like a whole bunch of different creative channels. Channel that's time-lapse of my drawings, my sketches, my digital creation, art, and paintings, and also like animations from Blender. Yeah, I'm thinking also, I like meditation and ASMR, and I'm also into psychology, and I think that there's a huge untapped potential for the open placebo to be implemented into even just normal content like YouTube. I think there's a lot of people that implement it through, like, there's stuff like Reiki, where arguably, you know, the potential for people to be healed by metaphysical ability is not necessarily, like, you can't really prove that through, it's not empirically provable. There's a lot of things that we take at face value to be truth, but that are not empirically or scientifically provable. You know, such as philosophical concepts, such as the idea that people outside of myself exist. That's not scientifically provable. Through the scientific method, you can't prove that. Let's see what we got going on with this. But regardless of whether or not you can prove something to be true or not, like the metaphysical, you know, ability for an individual to be healed through, you know, mystical healings of a witch doctor or what have you, we have scientifically, through the scientific method, proven that the placebo effect works, and there's also evidence that even with the open placebo, you can even be, can I pick up that? You can even be quote-unquote healed, or you can activate your body's potential for healing. Oh, it's the first time I've been activated by a trap. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is, through the open placebo, you can, it can be scientifically proven that you can be healed or be benefited from a placebo effect, even if you know it's a placebo. So the doctor, for instance, will say, hey, here's a placebo pill, you know, take this, and, you know, it'll help you if you believe it will. And whether or not you believe that to be true, certain studies, if somebody asks me in the comments, I can try and find that study and link it. I don't know if anybody's that interested in for a gaming video to talk about psychology, but for me, I accept that as a fact that, you know, the placebo effect it extends to even patients who know that the supplement or the mode of healing, the pill, is a placebo. It doesn't have to be a pill. That's the thing. Is presumably the faith-based healings are also based on placebo, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I think it's still, you know, just as amazing as the idea that, you know, God is healing you, because in my opinion, the idea of God is, things can be both, you know, factual and symbolic. So the idea for me of God is, you know, potentially real. I don't know, I can't prove that God is real. That's something that has to be taken at kind of like with a grain of salt. But the fact that it's implementary, or you can implement it to make your life better, is, in my opinion, a truth. So what does that mean? For me, that means that as you, maybe now is the time to put one into skeletal mastery. Let's state my point. Yeah, for me that means, you know, whether or not you can prove that God is real, you can prove that there is a benefit, a possible benefit from believing such a thing, or at least appealing to such an entity or a higher power. It doesn't have to be true, but it affects your subconscious mind. It affects the ability for placebo to activate inside of your psyche. Did we do it? We got it? Or did I just go right past it? So it's fascinating. So I'm thinking about having a channel that's fully dedicated to psychology, and my own kind of perusing of that field. There we go. That took long enough, didn't it? But yeah, and as I was talking earlier, I think that the placebo effect can be implemented in things such as,
Yes?
you know, ASMR, or, you know, through a YouTube video. So you could sit there and, you know, you could learn about the placebo effect, and you could learn about how the open placebo is such a thing. Even if you know it's a quote-unquote placebo, it could benefit you. And for me, that's fascinating. It would be kind of an honor to be able to bring that to the community. And you know, I don't want any recognition, and it's not the idea. But it would just be enjoyable for me. So yeah. Obviously, you know, it sounds cliche to be like, oh, let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea, if you would like to see that. But honestly, like, if you do think that's a good idea, I'd like to know. Okay, so where are we at here in terms of character level? 10. I'm gonna go and stash these. I'm still learning the shift right click is what we wanted to do. Alright, so quests now we're going to monastery. That's quite a ways away, isn't it? I think. The outer cloister, there we go, that's about where it is. There we go, level 11 now. You know, I'm not very opinionated either. I mean, that seems like a rather bizarre opinion, I think, to a lot of people, to have the belief that, you know, you can subconsciously heal yourself or whatever, and my beliefs certainly go beyond that. I believe it's I believe that anything is possible. I kind of, you know, I have two sets of beliefs which kind of operate simultaneous and independent of each other. So I have an empirical realism view of the way that the world works, and then I have the theoretical realm of possible physics and the way that the world works. And I mean, it's pretty obvious for me. You can say like, oh, you know, this desk is solid and we came from a big bang, and there's a lot of, you know, commonly held beliefs that
This place
it would be
has the
pretty hard to say
stench
that they're
of
not true.
demons about it.
But at the same time, there are things that just in my mind seem like they're highly possible, and or not even highly possible, but they're still within the realm of possibility. And so, well, that was kind of glitchy. The door didn't open there visually. Yeah, I mean, you know, this computer game that we're playing right here, you've got the hardware of the computer, and you've got the rules of the software, and then you've got the rules of physics, which allow for the software to run on the hardware. And without any three of those things, and you also have the consciousness of the individual, that the individuals who made it and the person who's playing the game. If there was nobody playing the game or watching the game, arguably it would not be able to run. If nobody made the game, arguably it would not be able to run. If the physics weren't there to kind of be like a lattice for those things to work, then it would not be able to run. If the hardware wasn't there, then it wouldn't be able to run. And if the software didn't exist, then it wouldn't be able to run. So what does that matter? It doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of, you know, an interesting set of parameters that are required for a video game to exist in the first place. And the reason why I bring it up in relation to my idea of like the framework of how existence really works is that, you know, it's possible at least to think that, in my mind, it's possible to think that, you know, what matters more about the universe is not like a determined, you know, set of rules, but kind of more like a framework of possible sets of rules. And that makes sense to me. It makes sense that, you know, just because there are rules, it doesn't mean that those have to be the rules of physics that exist. They are the rules of physics that exist. And so if you want to study empirical evidence of the way that the world is, then that would be a different thing altogether. And what I'm talking about is theoretical physics. And that's more interesting to me than learning the way that the world actually is. And I mean, I think that theory is based on the way that the world actually is, because you can only, you know, I can't imagine something that's impossible for me to imagine based on just coming out of nowhere. Everything that I imagine is based on the framework of everything that I've seen. So, just an interesting thing to think about in my mind. Not that it really matters, but obviously I didn't come into this game with like an outline of what I wanted to talk about in terms of physics and philosophy and stuff. It was more kind of like, this is my third video I've made. And the first day I've decided to make a groundwork for videos, and the idea to implement like different ideas of, you know, what kinds of videos I wanted to make. You know, I think that that's important. Obviously important to me. So that was really all I was really aspiring to do. Let's get some, wait a second to heal here on my skeleton. So yeah, I mean, yeah, other people are going to be able to watch these videos, but realistically, it's kind of more of a framework, especially the gaming. This personal gaming channel is going to be more of a framework of me being able to talk about and think out loud about what it is that I want to do in terms of my, my kind of like side job, quote unquote. So I'll go get a skeleton here. Yeah, I guess the main thing I'm talking about in terms of that idea is kind of like, oh, you know, the Matrix is not that far off in my mind of, you know, a possible, you know, framework. Although, why does it have to be an external entity that creates this computer program? Why can't that just be inherent in the way that the universe works? You know, maybe, you know, consciousness is interesting because initially you can't really tell, you know, you can't discern which, oh my gosh, why not die? Why not everybody die except for me? Okay, there we go. Oh, how much gold is there? Maybe I'll have to go and come back. See if I can join a, oops. See if I can join a game. So, you know, why does it have to be that there was, you know, some, external entity that created, you know, like a simulation, and that since that simulation was created by this external thing, then that external thing could program the simulation, and that external thing itself would be the thing that you know, is in charge of that simulation. I mean, why can't that just be inherent to the laws of physics or the law of existence? That, you know, having the origin of consciousness and existence are not, you know, mutually exclusive. So you have existence and you have consciousness. Doesn't mean that they're not intrinsically integrated to each other. So consciousness, a lot of people think...
The Order welcomes you.
Is a fundamental part of existence itself. I guess I don't have enough money to resurrect her, do I?
The Sisterhood
Well, maybe I do.
welcomes you.
I guess I should outfit her with some stuff. Guess what I'm gonna do... Oh, cool. It's a philosophy question, but it's still a valid question. It's still a valid topic. You know, you can't prove it, but
This place has the stench of
you
demons
don't need
about
to
it.
prove it if it benefits you psychologically. If it makes you be, you know, if you're a sports athlete and believing in God makes you a better sports athlete, then for you that's what matters. That's my opinion, at least. Can she use a light crossbow? Is that nothing?
I can't use that yet.
Okay, she can't use it at all. She needs a bow. Anyways, I think this is a little bit too high level for me to casually just kind of stomp around, so we'll go out here a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, the idea of a self-generating consciousness, which is also, it would be consciousness slash existence. So consciousness and existence, generally, the idea is they... Ooh, that looks like it's fun. Okay. 16 enhanced damage rating. Okay, we'll keep that up. So, you know, you have like imagining the Matrix. It doesn't have to be something that's, you know, made to be charging a battery of some foreign, you know, alien or robotic. It could just be something that is part of being a consciousness. You know, since whenever something generates, I mean, from the realm of nothingness, maybe the only way that it can generate is if there's something to experience that generation. So it could be that the universe itself is informationally based. So informationally based existence, as it were. So that's the idea. The idea is the universe itself, or existence itself, is kind of like requires consciousness to exist. And it might not require consciousness to exist at all times, but it exists in relation to consciousness. What I mean by that is, okay, existence itself doesn't have to have consciousness, but in order for it to be observed, it requires consciousness. And that's pretty obvious. I mean, maybe there's some other kind of observation that's not conscious. You know, you can record something and then you can take it out and then look at it. But retroactively, if it's going to be observed by any consciousness, then it exists in relation to that consciousness. We're level 12 now. Skeleton. No more skills. Okay, cool. I'm glad that I saved all those. But okay, so there's a, I think it's widely accepted as fact, or I mean at least empirically provable. If you have if you observe like an area of, you know, quantum nothingness, as it were, there's a function of quantum nothingness called quantum spontaneous generation. And the idea is, okay, so you have this spontaneous generation of existence that under seemingly no provocation or not being provoked by anything, an area of nothingness has the ability and does intrinsically create both matter and antimatter particles out of nowhere. And that's an interesting concept because, you know, you can take that as it is just kind of like, okay, that's a part of, you know, quantum physics. But it's more than just that, because it's a part of our existence. And I think that nothingness is a state of the lowest version of the lowest, you know, quantifiable state of consciousness. So if you look at nothingness, and then you look at, you know, a potential, like a dimension of nothingness, that's like the low end of a conscious dimension. And then as the dimension itself evolves, it begins to have more levels of consciousness and other variables, like laws of physics, stuff like this. I'm not saying that this is necessarily true, but you know, this is called theory. It doesn't really matter. It's just, you know, for my own amusement, of course. So looking at the ability for nothingness to spontaneously spring matter and potentially consciousness itself into, you know, because matter has an ability to create consciousness spontaneously, arguably. That's kind of the premise of how consciousness was generated in the first place. Was that, you know, presumably amino acids in either volcanic spires just kind of like created life, or, you know, amino acids in the primordial soup in like prehistoric times was struck by lightning, and then, you know, somehow this created life. So we're seeing, you know, I wouldn't necessarily call it spontaneous, because, you know, those things had to happen. Those things had to take place. But we see, you know, quote-unquote spontaneous sperment or generation of these concepts of consciousness and matter, both spontaneously come into existence from nowhere. And I would argue that at the moment of conception of matter, either the antimatter and matter spontaneously generating from a like an empty void. At that point, you're creating a type of consciousness, in my opinion. Because what is consciousness? It's the ability of a system to be able to maintain. Well, we could look it up, but the definition of consciousness varies, you know, subjectively from person to person. But there is going to be like a widely held definition of what consciousness is. My understanding of consciousness is that it's a gradient of levels of consciousness within a system. Like, your body and your mind is a system that embodies consciousness. That's obvious. Everybody knows that, you know, you're conscious and you're intelligent. And that's where we derive the understanding of consciousness from. But consciousness is something that doesn't have to be localized to a body. I mean, here, let's say when you're inside of a dream, you're observing the dream from the internal point of view. However, the dream itself is somewhat conscious because it is your consciousness exhibiting itself through an external experience. Not necessarily necessary in terms of, you know, empirical evidence, but in terms of possibility of explaining where consciousness comes from and what it's all about, I think that is prevalent to the conversation. So, I argue that the dissemination of information through a system is a type of preliminary consciousness. So, when you have antimatter and matter springing forth from a nothingness lattice or like a nothingness void, that's a type of information. The system is you know, the Swiss system, quote unquote. In this case, the system is the universe itself is maintaining like an information like, okay, this particle is here, this particle is here, and these particles are moving this way, and they have these properties. That's information being held within a system. And even if it's not a system that's holding information, even if it is just matter that's there, there is still some function by which that information is, or that information is, maybe not the information, but the matter is there in that system. So that's, to me, that's a type of consciousness. A very preliminary consciousness, but I would argue that that's a type of consciousness which is on the gradient of consciousness. So, you know, as I said, I believe that consciousness is a gradient which starts from 0, which would be a total void where nothing is happening, to, you know, 100 plus, whatever it is, over here where you have what some people would call God, where you have this, over here you have everything, you know, I don't know, like, it's almost like they connect in a ring. So it's like when you have total awareness, it's almost like you might as well be totally unconscious. Anyways, I digress. What level am I at here? Character level. Leveling up a little bit so I can go back and hopefully take out the Butcher. Yeah, I hope I don't go on and on too much that it's, you know, annoying. But I'm interested to see what your guys' philosophical views on the realm of possibility are. Not necessarily what, you know, the world actually, you know, what is understood in science, but like I said, what is possible is more intriguing to me, and you know, in the comments maybe, well, being kind, you know, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all, kind of thing. But it'd be nice to know, you know, if you do want to see that kind of content, let me know. I might even think about opening up debates, or, you know, discussions of theory with people other than myself, kind of like a forum of debate. It's kind of fun. Talking about other historical philosophers who have, you know, I know Penrose is somebody who has similar ideas of what I have. Kind of doing like research might be a cool idea. Let me know if you'd like to see me do that. For now, this video's been going on for quite a while, and I probably should call it quits. I might switch over to another game here. Yeah, drop your Steam IDs in the comments, and maybe I'll add you guys to my Steam account. Play some games. Let me know what games you want to see on the channel. Yeah, not super serious about YouTubing, but you know, might as well. If I'm gonna play video games, I might as well get to do it. And I like to talk, like to hear myself talk, so I might as well add that as a part of the It's a part of the content as well. Again, let me know if you think maybe when I'm playing games, I should keep the conversations solely to gaming, or if you like the fact that I, talk about other stuff, that'd be nice to know. That way I can kind of tailor my content to what people like to hear, rather than what I like to do necessarily. As I understand that sometimes what I like to do and what people like to experience can be totally different. So, love to hear from you guys, and wish me luck on my adventure, my quest of being the perfect content generator. Someone that's not just made for entertainment, but also for enjoyment and education. Education and thought-provoking content, I think, is really important for me. I know I do kind of tend to go on and on those, so let me know if that's what I did. I probably did that. I don't know. I'm not gonna like hold back my content creation. If I feel like I want to express myself, I'm gonna do that. And then I think as I go on, my ability to kind of like polish my content will be increased. It'll be better as I go. Seems like the items drop a lot faster in this mod. Come on, hit him once.
I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use.
Greetings.
Alright guys, thanks for listening and sticking around. Hopefully you had fun. I think with my next video I'm going to try and have a lesson plan, or like, you know, something that I have planned out. Maybe I'll only talk about the video game itself, and I'll leave the philosophy to the philosophy channel if I decide to make one.